Welcome to Erotic Fanfiction, the game show. I'm your host, Kyle Decker. All right, so what we're going to do, have you all heard of Rule 34? Rule 34 is, if something exists, there is porn for it. Which means anything you can think of, someone has created either a live-action video or a cartoon or at least a very, letter to penthouse kind of story for it. So tonight, we're going to do a show, or is it this morning? We're going to do a show where I have three, we'll call them performers in this regard. That's generous, but fair. Are going to present some, they came with some already crafted erotic stories, but then we're going to have a nice element of improv. They're going to have to make one up based on a random prompt. And we have some other fun games as well. So, but first I want to call out our judges. And if one of the judges on that back table, there's a red cup that says the Smut Cup. Smut Cup? Yeah, it's a red Pixie solo cup. We have two tremendous judges who are going to lend us our talents. We have the wonderful Megan Slauson. Woo. And filling in last minute like a champ, Fur Stirs. Excellent. Now, Fur and Megan, pen and paper. Each contestant is going to prepare two stories and do a lightning round. So on their prepared stories, each story is worth a maximum of 30 points. You'll give 10 points to creativity. Did they craft a fun and intelligent story? 10 points for eroticism, like how it's erotic fan fiction. It's got to be sexy. It's got to be somebody's fetish, right? Rule 34. And finally, 10 points for humor, because this is a comedy marathon. So, and it may just, the sexiness may take care of the humor. So that's a maximum of 30 points on their prepared story and their improv story. And then in the lightning round, which we'll do, it's there are 6 questions I'll ask them, and each question is worth 6 points. But if they get all 6 correct, they get 3 bonus points. So they get 30 points for their first story, max 30 points for the second story, and up to 9 points for the lightning round, making their perfect score 69. Nice. So yeah, because when it's an erotic fan fiction show, I am that juvenile. So, our defending champion from last season, who delivered a story about Pop from Snap, Crackle, and Pop and Tony the Tiger getting it on. I will never forget. It's forever etched in my mind every morning when I pour a bowl of cereal. James Fairbairn. All right, James, stand right here for me for a second. So, he's going to present a story in a second, but first I'm going to have him, for his second round, because he's going to have time while the others are reading. Okay. You're not going to read right away. You're going to pull from the Smut Cup. Okay. I pulled this information. These suggestions came from the Twin Cities Geek website. Oh. So I pulled it from random assholes on the internet. The best place to get your porn. Okay.
Oh! Okay, all right. I got Captain Picard.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go please have a seat for a moment. If you want, while we're doing these other things, if you have some ideas about Captain Picard, there's some pen and paper. You can start, making your number one decisions. All right, so our next contestant, she's another Fearless member. She's super funny. Becky Schmidt. All right, Becky, would you like to draw your...
I just want you to know that you can't steal anything from my story because you have Captain Picard. Nothing.
Foreshadowing, folks.
Ooh.
Foreshadowing.
All right.
Oh. This isn't right. I have Willy Wonka.
All right. Do you want to? Oh, by the way, did you want to keep Captain Picard, James? I do have a way for you to.
I think that it might be best for me to.
Okay, so.
Yeah, I don't want you to feel like you're going to be copyright infringing
now,
my
if you don't
story.
Like the second one, you then have to pull a third, and you have to pick 2 of the 3 to put in a story together.
Oh.
No, this is fine. All right.
What did he get for the second one?
I got Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty. All right.
Are you okay with Willy Wonka?
Yeah, I'm going to take Willy Wonka.
And our final contestant is not a Fearless member. One of my favorite things about doing Die Laughing and doing these weird-ass shows is getting non-fearless members a chance to perform, and they usually just fucking blow our pants off. That was an intentional term for this show. Sex humor. All right. Donovan. Hello, Donovan. Would you like to pull from the smut cup?
I certainly would. All right. Oh, gross. Groot and Rocket Raccoon.
Would you like to keep that, or would you like to dive into the cup one more time?
I sure would love to keep this.
Okay, so as he's the defending champion, the first out, we're going to bring James up from his prepared piece. Remember, judges, a maximum of 30 points. You have your criteria. James, yes, Becky.
Can I ask your question?
Yes.
Okay, so you want me to write a story based on Willy Wonka while I'm sitting here listening to these stories?
Yes, that's the difficulty rating. This is a game show, not a this shit's free and fun show.
Hey, I'm just making sure I understand the rules.
Yep,
Seeing as clearly this wasn't explained to me as well as it should have been.
I mean, to be fair, that is how he does everything. And I should know.
I'm not getting involved in that conversation.
You will be soon. All right. Soquette awoke to someone flipping her over. She'd been picked up a few times, but never by anyone serious enough to give her a thorough once over. Slender fingers brushed along her back. She heard their owner murmur, working something out. The woman rolled her over again, smiling as she looked at Soquette's face. She learned her new friend's name, DC, as she was checking her out at the store, but it wasn't until they reached Dee's home that Soquette knew her intentions. They headed immediately to the bedroom. Dee unwrapped and pinned her against the wall with one strong hand, while the other worked a tool against her with delicate expertise until Soquette was screwed well and thoroughly. There, Dee said with satisfaction. That's one item off my list. Soquette felt warmth and energy flowing through her, filling her up. Dee's fingers brushed her face, reading the braille of her surprised expression. She felt Dee carefully slide 2 hard prongs into her lower openings. The thrumming buzz of a vibrator motor demanded her full attention. Juices began to flow, and Soquette was in ecstasy. Dee, connected to her by the device, whimpered. Their tryst was soon interrupted by a noise from the computer on the nightstand, a low battery message dominating the thin screen. A few fumbling seconds later, and Soquette was being filled on both ends. A magic wand in her lower holes, and her face buried deep in Dee's laptop cord. She had never imagined such pleasure to be used like this from both sides. She had only heard stories of circuit parties, but now she was thinking of what it would be like to strip for a bus full of strangers. Waves of energy were pounding inside her. She trembled, feeling a powerful peak approaching. She was worried she might black out, but the fuse had been lit, and there was nothing to break her rhythm. It's so good, she thought, her face full of a hard prong. Yes, it's so good it hurts. Dee cried out in pleasure nearby, her voice phasing in and out with Soquette's thoughts. Her mind wandered as she watched Dee fall asleep in bed next to her. This morning, she was new and naive, but now Soquette was ready to be her main squeeze and would do anything for this woman. Later that day, her new friend coyly approached with a length of cord. Things were about to get even more electric, but what did she expect? The word homeowner is made up of 2 words, hoe and moaner.
So James.
The story is named Turn-Ons.
So that was a little DIY
Yeah.
home erotica. So, judges, what do you think of James's?
Whatever
story?
that was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just go first. That sounded like a serial killer at first, and that was kind of messed up. But it was really, really creative, and once you got going, it was oddly hot. So what I'm saying is, apparently, I'm into homeowner erotica. Yeah,
Seems accurate.
yeah.
All right.
It took me a minute. Took me a minute to figure out what was going on. I don't know if it's because of the time slot we're in, but once you got going, it really. I mean, that was like perfect for creativity. I mean, that was great.
Soak it.
Yeah, like now, like I got it and it clicked and it was good. Became a little bit less hot though because I am dealing with some wiring work at home and I was really interested into how I can use this to my advantage. But as far as humor goes, I mean, homeowner. Perfect. That's
I like these things to be grounded in reality.
I'm taking away a point for that.
James, before you go away, we're going to do, to keep the others have a group.
All right,
going,
okay,
We're
all
going to
right.
do your lightning round.
Oh, shit. All right.
And this one basically, I'm going to quick fire
Okay.
6 questions at you.
Oh, fuck.
And you have a simple answer. Your answer is tingle or jingle.
All right.
So these are either a line or a quote from Dinosaur Erotica
Oh, yeah.
master
Okay.
writer himself, Chuck Tingle. By
Yeah.
the way, Fearless Comedy Productions later this month is producing a play called Pounded in the Tingle, which is a live-action dinosaur homoerotic play. That's right, we're fucking doing it. So check it out on
Literally.
Fearless website. It's called a tie-in. This is the Fearless universe happening. So anyway, it's either going to be a catchphrase or something used by a brand in their commercial or a Chuck Tingle line.
Oh, all right.
So it's 1 point per, and if you get all 6, you get a bonus 3 points for a perfect score of 9.
Okay.
All right, so your first thing, twang my flanger.
Tingle. I'm going to say tingle.
No, that is the catchline on Guitar Player magazine.
What?
Yeah. It's all right. You can still
Get a better
you can
writer.
still get
Fuck.
6 points. Oh, what a feeling.
I'm pretty sure that's a jingle.
Yeah, that's Toyota Motor
Yes,
Company.
all right.
Whip me.
I know the song. I'm gonna go. Jingle.
That is correct.
For, like,
It
Cool
is-
Whip?
It is the little catchphrase for Cowboy America magazine.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
did a lot
Well,
of
it makes a
homework for
kind of
this.
sense. All right.
All right. Next
Stetson.
one. I ate the bones.
We've had so many jingles. I'm gonna say tingle this time.
That is a jingle from Kentucky Fried
What?
Chicken. Yes, they apparently had a campaign where they encouraged people
No.
to try and choke themselves by eating chicken bones. I'm not sure
What
the
the
details.
fuck?
It's real. I watched the commercial. It simultaneously has them spreading a full chicken and then a woman. It's pretty terrible. It should be erotica, but it is a jingle. All right, you've got 2 more.
All right.
Think big.
I think that's a jingle.
That's IMAX films.
Oh. All right.
And
Okay.
you got 1 more. So you've got 4 points. Judges, please keep track of his total here.
Yeah.
4. To get 5 points to salvage this, I am a filthy little human.
Jesus, I hope that's not a fucking jingle. Okay, tingle.
That is correct.
Oh,
it is a
fucking
tingle.
thank God. All right.
All right, everyone. James, do we have a score for his first round? Or if you guys need time to calculate, we can go on to the next person.
I give him 26 for that first one. Okay. For his first reading, I gave James a 10 for creativity, an 8 for eroticism, and an 8 for humor for 26 points.
Okay.
I gave him 10 for creativity, 8 for humor, and 10 for making homeowners a thing.
Okay. So if you
So
could keep your
28.
tally, and then he got 5 points on the lightning round.
Yes.
Becky,
Can I finish this word thought?
you sure can.
Okay.
So while Becky's finishing, oh, look at that. That was a quick word thought.
Yeah.
Bravo for you. All right, Becky, do you want to dive right into your story? Do you want to give the title and topic? You do not have to do it.
I would like to give the title and topic because I feel like it might require just a little bit of explanation. My piece is called Lieutenant Commander Riker and the Eiffel Tower on the holodeck. And, oh, thank you. So there is an episode of Star Trek Season 1, Episode 13, in which they stop for an upgrade on their holodeck, and they are showing Riker the new holodeck system, and he creates a jazz club in which he creates a character named Minuet. As the story progresses, Picard interrupts his session with Minuet while they are dancing on the dance floor very slowly, and they proceed to have conversations. And while this is happening, the aliens who are updating the holodeck for them steal the ship. So I have concluded that is the official report, but I would like to tell you the story of what really happened on the holodeck. Lieutenant Commander Riker had created the perfect woman in Minuet. She loved jazz, could watch him slide his trombone for hours, and knew how to dance slow. Riker had never felt this way about a woman before. As he held her in his arms, he realized only a woman, programmed to meet his every whim, could possibly understand him as a man. Minuet's charm had captivated Riker, and he was losing all sense of time. Minuet hugged Riker tighter as they swayed on the dance floor, pressing her body closer to his. Riker could feel the soft flesh of her breast against his chest. He longed to unzip the back of her dress and play with her taut nipples that were gently poking through the fabric of her dress. Riker leaned down and kissed Minuet firmly. He felt her lips part wantonly as he slid his tongue into her mouth. Suddenly, the whoosh of the holodeck doors bring Riker jarringly back to reality. Captain Picard saunters in and looks slowly about the jazz club with an appraising look. As he spies Riker's companion, a smile spreads across his face. "Ah, number one, there you are," Picard bellowed as he walked directly to the lovely creature at Riker's side. "And who are you, my dear?" he purred. "Minuet," she answered behind a smile. Her bedroom eyes met Picard's gaze as he kissed her hand. "They have clearly updated the holodeck program, number one," murmured Picard, holding Minuet's gaze and hand long enough to rise Riker's jealousy. "They certainly have," replied Riker curtly. He reached for Minuet's hand to pluck it away from Picard, but Picard was too fast for him. He spun Minuet out of Riker's arms and into his own. Riker reached out to object, and Picard silenced him with a single finger to Riker's lips. "Don't make me make it an order, number one." Picard whispered huskily. "Let's explore this new bold frontier." Picard leaned down and kissed Minuet. Again, she returned it wantingly. Picard's hand explored Minuet's body. The friction as his hand caressed the curves of Minuet's body sent vibrations to his core. Riker watched on, confused but entranced. He suddenly found himself envious, aroused, and left out. Riker sauntered over to the couple and pulled Minuet into an embrace and engulfed her lips. Riker could still taste Picard. A hint of Earl Grey hit the tip of Riker's tongue. What did I do? He kissed her deeper. Picard watched on, feeling the fire of his arousal hit his face. It was time for him and Riker to go where no man had gone before. Picard slid behind Minuet and began peppering kisses down her neck as his hands worked in tandem with Riker's to caress every curve of Minuet's. Picard found the zipper of Minuet's dress and slowly began to unwrap this beautiful gift Riker had created. Riker grunted in approval, his hands running through Minuet's hair as he pressed his erection against her. The polyester rub of his Starfleet uniform made him ache more. Picard slowly released Minuet's dress from her shoulders, and it fell into a perfect heap at her feet. Minuet gently stepped out, putting her whole supple body on display. Picard and Riker stared unabashedly, allowing Minuet's creamy breasts and luscious bottom to fill them with arduous desire, the type of arduous desire that demanded satisfaction. Riker was the first to break the trance. He moved to Minuet, picking her gently up and setting her on the nearby table. He placed himself between her inviting legs and pulled her firmly to his erection with a snap of Picard's fingers. Riker found himself in Minuet stark naked. He was perfectly placed in front of the luscious dripping hole. He didn't hesitate to take advantage of the ideal opportunity. Riker entered Minuet abruptly. He felt her clench in surprise and sigh in pleasure. Riker began increasing his pace as he enthusiastically fucked Minuet. Riker's groans echoed across the computer-generated jazz club. A smile played across Picard's lips as he watched Riker enjoying his work of art. He snapped his fingers again, this time removing his own clothes. Picard strolled up to Minuet's head and grabbed her hair firmly. He leaned over and kissed her intensely. Picard could feel Minuet's moans on his tongue as Riker continued his steady pace. Picard pulled Minuet's head to the edge of the table as he continued to search her mouth with his tongue. He liberated her mouth for a moment of his oral attentions. Picard looked down at Minuet, running a thumb along her cheek to her mouth. Minuet began gently sucking and licking Picard's thumb in between her immodest moans. Between ministrations of Minuet's mouth and the alluring display of her breath as she laid across the table, Picard required no further encouragement. He placed his erect penis on Minuet's plump lips. She tenderly began to lick and suck on his tip. Every flourish of her tongue made him throb. He slowly began fucking her mouth, slowly penetrating deeper and deeper into Minuet's mouth. Picard and Riker once again working in tandem as they explored the caverns of Minuet's body. Riker looked up to find Picard ogling him on the other side of Minuet, both men glistening with perspiration. Picard reached out to Riker, locking arms with him, and they increased their pace on the delicious Minuet. But if Starfleet asks, they just talked for hours on the holodeck while the aliens stole the ship.
Becky Schmidt. Stay right here. We're going to do the lightning round. I can't ever watch any episodes of Minuet again. Thank you, Becky. Just like, this show always seems like a good idea, and then I do this show.
Oh, that piece is dedicated to Joseph Ye and Matt Bokovic.
All right. So, Becky, you're also going to do jingle or tingle.
All right.
All right.
Jesus.
So, this is either a jingle or a slogan from a company.
Okay.
Or a quote from Chuck Tingle.
Oh, good.
Pleasing people all over the world.
Oh, that's a jingle.
Yeah, Holiday Inn. I got to get the enunciation of this one right. It's very important. Lip smacking, thirst quenching, acetacin. I think that's like motivating, good buzzing, cool talking, high walking, fast living, ever grinning, cool fizzing.
That's a jingle.
That's Pepsi, yeah. No one's hungry for a Pepsi now for some reason.
Nope.
Teeny doesn't mean weenie.
Is that a jingle?
It is. It's the iPod Mini.
Oh.
No. Yeah. Fucking Apple. All right.
That's a bad jingle.
Yeah. If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face.
I hope that's Tingle.
That is Carl Jr.'s hamburger
Oh my
ad.
God.
Yep.
Carl Jr., rethink your life.
That's the one where they had Paris Hilton eating a burger, and that was their slogan. They knew
Okay.
exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm cheap.
Can that just, I mean, that just doesn't feel, I mean, that's just a disgusting jingle. I'm sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
I mean, it's
That's
Yeah.
why. Okay.
I mean, it was probably a male ad.
This is why I don't make millions and millions of dollars, because I have a soul, apparently.
Right. Tell me I'm cheap.
Is that a jingle?
Yeah, it's Bargain Hunter magazine. Finally, one more.
Okay.
I can feel his mountains and valleys, his rivers and forests, deserts and incredibly toned abs.
Tingle.
That is Tingle.
Okay.
So that's 5 points for Becky she just missed one. 5 points for Becky on the lightning round. Thank
All
you,
right.
Becky. You
Thank
can go
you.
back to work on your improv set. Donovan. Oh, I'm sorry. Judges get a moment to say, Donovan, you got a couple more minutes.
Yeah, quick question. You said, was that episode, or was that season 1 TNG?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so Riker didn't have the beard. Okay.
Nope.
Got
Oh,
it.
now the
That's-
mental picture's further
Yeah,
cemented.
yeah,
I
okay.
asked a question when she was telling me
Beardless
about it. So.
Riker.
Oh.
Also,
Okay,
I
got
just
it.
realized why you called it the Eiffel Tower. Fuck.
What?
That's what an Eiffel Tower is. Where
Yeah.
you lock arms.
It's 6 a.m.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Close heat, I guess, so far. No, I mean, that was, we're learning a lot about ourselves and our desires, I guess, at 6 o'clock in the morning that I didn't realize I'd be confronting in front of a live internet audience. But
How many people are on the stream, by the way, Heather?
oh, my word.
I love you, 9 people. I really hope you're whacking it
Doing.
right now. As long as they do it in the privacy of their own homes, they don't give a shit what they do.
Sorry for.
I have questions I don't want answered.
I didn't tell them to tell us whether or not they were. I just said that I hope that they were. Because, like, yeah. Right?
Yes.
So I'm sorry for. I've lost control.
What?
I hope aliens don't steal this ship. Go ahead.
No, that was wonderful. As wonderful as it could be. Riker, Picard. I mean, sure enough, give it that. But yeah, A plus on the eroticism and the humor. I guess that Eiffel Tower thing. That was good. That was. Megan?
No. And I will admit, I knew about this one a little bit before because I felt like I needed a little bit of background because I don't have the Star Trek knowledge. So Becky gave me, and the amount of forethought that went into this is
Disturbing.
horrifying, literally.
It's been a week.
Yeah, it was horrifying, and I don't want to hear any of those words come out of your mouth ever again. Except if in Ville. Okay, that's fine then. But
You don't want me to say plump lips again?
no, we're good. We're good.
Erection?
You didn't use any of the really gross. You didn't like say like throbbing. I don't think. Or
did use the
Throb
word.
Throb
I
was
did
in
throb
there.
at once.
Okay, just one.
Oh,
James was taking
There was
a
no
drink.
tumescence. Yes, there was no tumescence.
Ah, damn it.
real
Alright,
missed.
I'll put it in this one.
Okay.
All right.
Real missed opportunity for use of the word turbo lift too. I feel like that could have helped the cause a little bit.
That's fair.
All
That's
right.
absolutely
So
fair.
judges have had their say. We're all trying to wish we had a holodeck to remove that image for mine. Donovan.
They're gonna be scrubbing that holodeck out for the next week.
Oh, can you imagine the poor ensign whose job it is to mop the holodeck?
We also discussed that Commander Riker requires his own entire full HR team, like just round the clock, and not a single one of those people could be women, like at all.
All right. So Donovan, would you
Watch
like
that show
to
again.
introduce your story, or would you like to dive right into it?
Oh, I think I can introduce this. I decided to. I almost did a Star Trek: The Next Generation story. Apparently, I thought better, or maybe not, because I present to you Towers of Love, a romantic die-hard tale.
Yes.
Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, Donovan.
It was a bright and sunny day in Los Angeles, USA, and Detective John McClane had just infiltrated the skyscraper Nakatomi Plaza to save his wife, Holly Gennaro. The evil terrorist Hans Gruber had taken Holly Gennaro hostage, but using only his wit, his muscles, and his numerous guns, John McClane foiled his schemes once and for all. Oh no, John McClane, you have defeated my evil schemes once and for all, Hans Gruber said with evil resignation as he fell off the side of the building forever. Oh, John, Holly Gennaro said after all of the action was over, running up to her husband and putting her hands all over his rippling muscles. I am so glad you were able to defeat Hans Gruber and save my life. Yes, John. Thank you for saving me from being blown up, said a mysterious voice from all around them. Holly Gennaro and John McClane looked all around them, but they could only see darkness. Who said that? John McClane said, drawing his guns that he had taped to his back earlier and flexing his muscles with manly power. It's me, said the voice. It's Nakatomi Plaza. And I think I'm in love with you. The building? But you're just a building. What do you know of love? Holly Gennaro huffed with feminine indignation. I may be just a building, but I know that I love having you inside of me. Both of you. Nakatomi said with husky metallic sexuality. Holly Gennaro raised her eyebrows suggestively, and John McClane was unable to hide his manly erection at the building's clever double entendre. Well, I just enjoy being inside of you, Nakatomi Plaza, John McClane said as he ran his rough hands over the smooth metallic surface of the walls of the building. Holly Gennaro and John McClane could feel the building shudder beneath their feet as his hands moved from the finished drywall to an exposed steel support beam that had been dislodged by Hans Gruber's evil terror. Oh, my girders have never been exposed like this. This feels amazing, Nakatomi Plaza said with the sexual gusto of a horny ocelot. Oh, you're going to feel a lot more of this, Holly Gennaro said as she tore off her tasteful 80s blouse and rubbed her naked body on the floor rigorously. The building quaked and swayed at the incredible sexual energy emanating off the incredibly buxom Holly Gennaro and the manly muscled John McClane. It's about time we moved this relationship to the next level, John McClane said with desire in his voice. You don't mean my roof? Nakatomi Plaza said with erotic anticipation. John McClane removed his pants, revealing his heroic-sized man member, and winked. They don't call me Die Hard for nothing. On the 35th floor of Nakatomi Plaza, fire was still raging below, but not from the bombs of the evil Hans Gruber, but from the sexual fire burning inside of the building's concrete loins. A huge hole had been blown into the roof from the bomb from the beginning of Act 3, and Detective John McClane knew that this would be the only way to satisfy the carnal urges of his architectural lover. Be careful. My roof is the most sensitive part of me, Nakatomi Plaza said as its two human lovers each staked out a sexual claim. Holly Gennaro winked at her husband as she gently kissed the rooftop of the building and then brought the massive radio antenna atop Nakatomi Plaza between her sweet jugs as she began to pleasure herself sexually. The building swayed beneath the couple and audibly moaned so loud that all of Los Angeles, USA could hear. Suddenly, the building felt something incredible. John McClane had penetrated the building's collapsed roof with his huge manly piece, which was the only opening in the building that could handle his massively muscled man dick. John McClane pumped forcefully, yet kindly, into the building as his wife performed the ancient art of the titty fuck to any protrusion on the building she could find. Oh my God, I'm coming! Screamed the building lustily. Are you close? John McClane looked at his wife and they smiled and winked as they both said, Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. And then they brought the house down.
Fuck my life. Oh.
All right. Every year I do this. Unexpected happens. Last year was cereal mascots. This year it's now I have visions of Riker, Picard, and Bruce Willis in my head that so Donovan,
Yes.
while the judges are calculating scores and thinking about a sequel. We're going to do your quick fire round. It's the same game we've done for everyone else. We want to keep it fair.
All right, cool.
So jingle or tingle. Between love and madness lies obsession.
Oh, that's definitely a jingle.
Yeah, this Calvin Klein perfume. Finger licking good.
Jingle.
Yep. Kentucky Fried Chicken again, twice on this list.
Very, very sexual chicken.
Are you in good hands?
That is definitely a jingle.
Allstate. Beauty outside, beast inside.
Jingle.
Yep, that's MacBook Pro. That is Apple twice on here. So, according to my research, the two sexiest companies in America are KFC and Apple. With a name like Smuckers, it's just got to be good.
Jingle.
That is Smucker's Jam. It's the sexiest food name, so, you know. Let your fingers do the walking.
That's also a jingle.
That is correct. One more. If you get it right, it'll be a perfect score. That's Yellow Pages.
Yeah, their logo is fingers doing this.
Yeah. Prove that love is real.
You know what? I've had so many jingles. So this one has to be Chuck Tingle.
That is a tingle.
Yeah.
That's a perfect score. 9 points in total for Donovan. All right, Donovan, you can have a seat. Judges, what are your thoughts on Donovan's Die Hard
You
story?
want to take this one first? Oh,
Not
yeah.
really, but I'm just gonna say that I have no words. It was perfect and not perfect at the same time. And I don't think I'm going to be able to watch that movie again because I love that. It's my favorite Christmas movie, as it's supposed to be, but like, no Gremlins. No, but that was amazing. Like, I got nothing funny to even say. Like,
Have you ever walked in on your parents having sex and like you know that like that's that like sexual activity is supposed to be like considered an erotic thing, but because it's something that you have you know these people, you know them, they raised you, there is nothing erotic about what we just heard. However, I don't have any idea of where you would have gotten the idea for that, and that's amazing and wonderful and beautiful, and it was like watching art being created.
Right.
Perfect.
All right, so James, your story is done. Judges, instead of judging each one of these improv rounds, write down your score, and then after all three performers have done their improv round, just let us know a winner. And no one sees, I'm not going to verify the score sheets. Take that information for what you will when you declare a winner. So James, you had Rick and Morty, correct?
Yeah.
So here's James's Rick and Morty.
Okay, so it's
He said
always
he's written in the last 44 minutes.
it's always my instinct to go with the first awful joke, like the first pun, and unfortunately the pun that I have for Rick and Morty is My Summer Romance. Nothing good. Nothing good. We need her DNA, Morty. Rick wetly belched. This is a different dimension, so she's not really your sister. I don't really think that's something that. Can't you just get a spit sample or something? I can do a lot of things, Morty, but I'm not asking. If you want to save your sister, you have to seduce her on this dimension and get her vaginal juices. Morty whined. Like a bad machine bearing. He'd barely looked at her at all, much less stared at her breasts. He'd hungered for girls at his school and finished inside a sex bot many times, but Summer's curves had never held his longing in their jiggling grasp. I'll just imagine it's literally anyone other than her. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
James, everybody. Becky, I hope you don't do that. I'm not a judge. I'm just this. Becky had Willy Wonka, for those who forgot. Becky, give us the golden ticket. All right.
My piece is called Willy Wonka, the Chocolate Love. Wonka had waited all day for this moment, his me time. It was tough being the boss, especially for his delicate creative sensibilities. It was these moments Wonka lived for, the moments he could be at one with his art. The chocolate was the perfect temperature as Wonka tested the tub. He began lighting the many candles surrounding his porcelain oasis. The smell of cinnamon wafting through the air. He dimmed the lights, removed his purple robe, and gently lowered himself into the tub. The thick warmth enwrapped his body. He was home in his chocolate cocoon. His body was completely at ease, and he allowed himself to feel the pleasure ripple through his body. The chocolate engulfed Wonka sensually, spreading into every crevice Wonka possessed. Wonka began to rub his genitals using the chocolate to reduce the friction. Wonka was finally free to be loved by his love. As he worked his shaft, he felt the perfect peace only found when completely in love with your perfect companion. Wonka slowly began to reach climax. As he released himself, he let out a sigh. A perfect end, he thought, as he slowly licked the chocolate from his fingers.
Becky Schmidt, everybody.
That was hot.
So, Fearless does have the snack challenge. You can buy a chocolate snack for Fearless members.
I'm good. It's a punishment at this point. No,
All right, Donovan. Donovan has his final story here. It is Rocket and Groot. Go ahead, Donovan.
It was a bright and sunny day in space, and the crew of the SS Guardians of the Galaxy were not being able to read my words. We're tending to space business. Yes. Okay, Rocket and Groot. We have unloaded all of this cargo we stole from the space cops. Now get to it, Star-Lord said to Rocket and his tree friend. Can I count on you? You can count on us, Rocket Raccoon said. But what is the cargo? I am Groot, Groot said. That's right, Groot. Sex toys, Star-Lord said, suggestively. As Rocket and Groot were moving cargo, a crate of space dildos fell over, sending dildos everywhere. Rocket was embarrassed that his ultimate fantasy of an explosion of dicks was now made manifest on their cargo bay floor. Rocket hurriedly tried to pick them up, but as he reached his furry little paw to start picking up all of the space dildos, his tiny little hand met Groot's branch. He looked up into Groot's eyes, and Groot looked into his eyes, and for a moment, there was silence. I am Groot, Groot said with lusty sexfulness. Groot, why didn't you say anything before? Rocket said, flustered with himself. I am Groot, Groot said as he moved his branch up Rocket's arm, leaving leaves sprouted on Groot's toned wooden body, signaling his intentions. We can't, not here. We would be found out, Rocket protested, but to no avail as Groot reached his vines around the cyborg night panda's body. Another tendril grabbed a space dildo off the ground, the biggest he could find, and Groot winked. I am Groot. Rocket Raccoon could not resist such an offer and threw himself at his arboreal hunk, moving his hands over Groot's fine-grained body and sucking on every knob and branch he could find. Oh, Groot, Rocket said. I am Groot. Suddenly, Groot grabbed Rocket Raccoon's tiny, furry-toned body and thrust his lumber into Rocket's torpedo tube. Oh, Groot! You give me wood in more ways than one, Rocket said, observing his own rocket ready for liftoff. I am Groot! Groot cried out with sexuality as both of them blasted off into the stratosphere. The two collapsed on the ground, exhausted, amidst the piles and piles of space dildos. Both were out of breath, feeling one with the cosmos and with each other. You sure are, buddy. You sure are.
Donovan, everybody. So, I would bet wager.
Can I just say, I don't think that was fair. Half his dialogue was written for him.
I will say, I almost guarantee there is fanfic on Tumblr of a sexually exhausted Groot and Rocket sleeping on piles of dildos. I bet that already exists.
Let me check the tags.
Space spildos.
So that you can do your space work.
So, judges, do you need some more time to calculate up your winner?
Yeah.
We're doing remember, this is all for charity. We did this for the greater good. Fearless is doing this to raise money. If you paid for your ticket, or you go to the silent auction, or you pay for a challenge, like, if you're very mad at me for putting this together, I will take one for the team. That it was bad phrasing.
I am livid.
I will, you can punish me for what oh God, revenge is a thing you can do to me for what you just saw if you saw fit, and it would benefit Fearless and maybe make you feel better about what you just saw. I'm trying to say everything is.
Anything ever make you feel better about what you just saw?
I mean, I've got confession in 6 days, so.
It might. So, but the thing about opening, God damn it, everything's sexy. I'm trying.
Literally, you can't say it.
Yeah. Donovan, thank you. You're our only one non-fearless member, and you brought it. Thank you. So, judges, do we have a winner?
Yeah.
Hold on. Winner. All right.
Why the viewing audience? America is the real winner this
Yep.
morning.
It's America.
Hey, we all helped you with your morning wood.
No, oh, in Canada. We love Canada.
We had viewers. I would say we had viewers in Canada.
Yeah,
I don't know.
still there?
Patriot love and all that.
Oh, thank goodness.
God, I thought their sensibilities would have been so.
Sorry,
offended
we
at this
didn't do
point.
any Letterkenny fanfic.
Yeah. Do you want to announce who the winner is?
I'll let you take this one.
I mean, once again, winner. Donovan?
Yeah.
Woo, Donovan, everybody. I think.
Yeah.
All right. So once again, our judges: Megan Slauson, First Stirs, contestants Becky Schmidt, James Fairbairn, and Donovan. I've been your host, Kyle Decker.